Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here, coming at you with the daily Rastakhan Rumble card reviews as the reveals are happening all the time, and I got another 10 cards for you guys today, and these are some spicy ones. Holy crap. If you checked Reddit today, Hearthstone Reddit, like the top 10 posts is basically these 10 cards. Okay, minus like one or two, because one or two kind of suck, but like a lot of these have some serious potential. If you ask me, this is what they should have opened up with when they basically announced the expansion. And, well, let's have a look here. Boshy Hype Man. It's a rogue minion. It's not a particularly good one, but it can be. It's kind of like a fun minion. It's certainly a very high-power arena card. When you're playing arena as rogue, you want those high-value minions that are just pretty good standalone with potential to just win you the game. This is exactly that, but it's a little bit slow when it comes to constructed play, so I can't really rate it very highly. I'm going to give it the old 2 stars. Very, very outside chance of seeing play in constructed, but a very solid arena card. There's certainly some battlecry minions that are just used for their battlecry, but you get to discover, and most of the battlecry minions are not that strong just from their battlecry alone. I think on average, this card is just a good 7-drop, but good 7-drops do not see constructed play. Revenge of the Wild. Before I say anything, this card is like 5 stars plus. This is going to put Hunter on the map again. This card is just ridiculous. There's no instance where this card is bad. This card just, it costs way too little. That's the only thing I can say about it. I would even predict this is going to be part of the first cards that are going to be nerfed from the upcoming expansion's balance patch that, you know, maybe a month down the line. Why is this card so good? Well, hunters play beasts a lot. So whenever you're going to lose like 1 or 2 beasts, you just play this. And it's just guaranteed value. That's it. Just good. You can play Unleash the Hounds to get another Unleash the Hounds for 2 mana, which is really good. Like really, really good. It's good enough to the point where probably Knife Juggler Unleash the Hounds combo is going to come back because, well, if you can do Knife Juggler Unleash, get everything like 1 health, and then Revenge of the Wild to get all of your charging doggies a second time for 2 mana, well, you're probably going to do that. This card's just insane. You know, if you can just trade a high main, play a high main for 2 mana, you're done. Super value, you know, just... It's so easy to do that. You just play Hunter, and this card is crazy. But it's even better than that. It actually satisfies some of the combo potential that Hunter is perhaps going to have. Do you remember the Hunter legendary spell? No, you don't, because it sucks. However, if you held on to it and didn't disenchant it, the Boomzooka is now a combo with Revenge of the Wild. If you have like the Charged Devil Swords, if you have like King Crush, you can even play crap like the new Hakar. You can play maybe some Loas, I don't know, just sky's the limit. You just fill your deck with trash beasts, and if you can get that card off somewhat consistently, have your beast die, then play this again. Oh my god, you're talking about board clear plus potentially like 20 plus charge damage and filling the board with giant minions. Like the potential of that combo alone is ridiculous to the point where we might actually see Combo Hunter, in addition to this being played in like mid-range Hunter, in addition to this being played in like every other version of Hunter except Odd Hunter, but Odd Hunter is probably going to die. Well, rip in peace Odd Hunter, nobody cares about Odd Hunter anyway, but everything else is going to use this card. This card is absolutely insane. Next up, we have a Shaman Weapon, Lick'em. 2 cost, 1/3, and it has 2 attack if you have overloaded mana crystals. So it's pretty easy to get mana crystals overloaded to the point where this is a good card. I haven't really played Shaman that utilizes a continuous overload mechanic since the Tunnel Trog days a couple of years ago. And in that time, this card would be really good. But, well, it's a different time in Hearthstone right now. I find it challenging to rate this card. I'm going to have to give this card like 4 stars. It has good potential to see play, largely because even Shaman is already a deck, so I think it can fit in there somehow, and even if it doesn't, it has potential to fit in, maybe some kind of control Shaman. There's a lot of spots where this card can see play, so there's a lot of opportunity. That's why I'm rating it highly, but in general, I am concerned that even though this card is undoubtedly powerful, I feel that power level is kind of challenged by a lot of other things in Hearthstone these days. So, we will see. Amani Warbear, we'll just give it a 1 star here because obviously there's nothing here besides an arena card. But good news for you guys, Arena this expansion has been largely neutral cards. I have loved it. And this is a card I can certainly evaluate perfectly for you guys. It will see no constructed play, but it's not bad. Rush is good, Taunt is good. Taunt and Rush are kind of conflicting, but it's a big dude that does something right away, and it also has Taunt. All of those things are going to make it a very useful arena card, probably in the top like 30% of arena cards. So yeah, 1 star basically. This card, High Priest, the Call, is really exciting, however. It's a 3-cost 3/4, so if you just want to play pretty good dudes in your deck, there you go. You can just put this in basically any Paladin deck. A lot of Paladin decks have incidental healing, and with some incidental healing, that aspect is going to be a bonus. Think of all the Alistraza players that you're going to disappoint. Well, probably not that many, but nonetheless, it's funny the side uses of this card, notably in the fact that it's just a pretty good card at 3 mana 3/4. That's just very standard good. You convert all but 1 of your health into armor. Hilarious. I love it. I love this card. It'll obviously promote Control Paladins as some more because your healing won't be basically dead going into the mid-game if you somehow out-tempoed your opponent in the mid-game. It's just so good. We have synergy with healing yourself and Paladin. We have synergy with playing spells with the Loa. And it's typically the spells that heal you when you play Paladin. Oh, it's just marvelous. This card is just awesome. Awesome card. I'm going to have to rate it 4 stars. I don't know if it's going to be like super meta, but it's just going to be a good card. It's just the meta is not going to be revolved around this card, I don't think. But nonetheless, you're going to see a decent bit of this card just because it's good. It has a lot of combo potential. It makes use of cards that we haven't seen in a long time. And well, honestly, I just love it. I just love this card. Masked Contender. Neutral 3/2/4. If you control a secret, play a secret from your deck. So playing a secret from your deck obviously has a bit of a wide range based on the class that you're playing. But if you are playing Mage, for example, that's not too bad at all. You're playing 3 mana and draw a card from your deck if you have a secret in play, which is probably not that hard to do. I feel this card is on a high power level, but Mage, especially Tempo Mage, is going to be struggling without the Mana Worms because Mana Worms got nerfed to 2 mana. So it's a bit of a challenging spot, but I think it'll find the spot. I'm going to rate this card 4 stars as well. It certainly might look a little high for what you're looking at right now, but do not underestimate secret synergy that pops cards from your deck. That stuff is really good. So we'll see. I think it's going to make it. I don't think it's going to be meta defining, but I think it's going to make it in at least a few decks. Walk the Plank, Rogue Removal, kill an undamaged minion. So it's obviously very good. This is like a tier 1 with some of the best cards you can draft in Arena, but for Constructed, this is better stuff. You just get like Vilespines if you want. And it's pretty easy to set up a deck where you can combo easily and use Vilespine in a very similar way. Plus you get the minion, which is really important because as Rogue you have to play tempo. If at some point you can actually afford to play Control Rogue and you don't want small minions because perhaps you're playing the Rogue Loa, I can see this card maybe seeing a play, but I'm not optimistic in that actually happening. So we'll see. For the time being, excellent arena card. I think it's a pretty terrible constructed card, so it's, overall like a 2-star card with some very, very slim chance of seeing some constructed play, but I would say largely hopeless. Soup Vendor, love it. 2-cost 1/4, good enough stats to stick around for a while. If you heal for 3 or more health, you draw a card. So you basically have to be playing a lot of healing. It seems that Paladin's going to be doing a bit of that, and it seems like Priests just do a lot of that already. So maybe you'll find a spot somewhere. It's one of those, traditions in Hearthstone. Do not underestimate cards that heal or synergize from healing. I don't think it's going to be that good. I'm gonna rate it 2 stars, but I could very well be wrong. And I would almost bet on being wrong, which seems kind of dumb, but yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. I feel like healing is situational enough where synergizing off of your healing on the same turn might just be a little too challenging. Rabble Bouncer is a 7-cost 2/7, so evolutions at the 7 mana cost are going to be a little bit more terrible. It has taunt, which is pretty decent. It costs 1 less for each enemy minion. That can be very good. You can often play this, I think, as a 2, 3, 4 mana card. I think, more than that is a bit optimistic or a bit pessimistic. And, on average, a 4 mana 2/7 taunt, that's pretty good. This is a card that might swing heavily with the meta if early on in the expansion people discover some extremely degenerate aggro deck, as actually happens most of the time. Some people will actually put this card in their deck to counter those, and they will be happy that they did. So even though it's not an impressive looking card, I'm going to give it 3 stars, as it is very likely going to be situationally impactful in the churn of the meta, probably just at the start of the expansion. Last card today, Blast Wave. Holy crap. Blast Wave is insane. It's insane. This card is just crazy. Blast Wave, I'm just going to give it 5 stars and give you guys the reasons why, because it's just a clear, crazy card. So it deals 2 damage to all minions. So if you're familiar with this, it's basically Volcanic Potion, I believe it was called. 3 mana, deal 2 to all minions. That card was played a lot. It was played in a lot of control decks. It was in like every single Reno deck. Yeah, right now we have like more cards than we ever have, but next expansion, first expansion of the year, when we have fewer cards, you're going to see even more of this card. But let me tell you why it's crazy. So the overkill is you add a mage spell to your hand, but yeah, you're only doing 2 damage, so how likely is it to overkill something? Well, it's not too bad. Cards like Thalnos, just kind of granular spell damage, are going to make things work. The fact that mage has so many ways to do small amounts of damage through board clear means right now is going to make this card a very easy setup for the overkill effect if you want that effect. Even your hero power can help it. If there's something at 2, you can ping that, and then you can use Blast Wave to get an overkill effect. Not sold? Well, how about this? The overkill effect can trigger on multiple minions. So if you overkill like 5 things, you actually add 5 random mage spells to your hand. Does that seem good yet? I bet it does. I bet it does, yes. So it's kind of like a combination between Volcanic Potion, which is a little bit more expensive, but it was played a lot, and Kabbalist Tome, which again was played a lot, but it's obviously just in general going to be way better than Kabbalist Tome. So yes, perhaps control mages are just pushed out of the meta and we won't see this card play for a while. It's always a possibility, but the power level of this card alone is insane. It's astronomical. So even though I hate RNG cards, I just really like the design of this card, and maybe you guys can appreciate that. And I'm sure I'll be super salty at some point in the future in Arena when this generates the exact spells to kill me for exact lethal on the following turn, and then I lose my shit. Yep. Wait for it. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'll see you guys tomorrow.